be just from the memory. Cause it could get lonelier. It could get lonelier. Love when you text me, though you ain't next to me. Cause it could get lonelier. It could get I get so happy.
Welcome to another episode of 𝗙cie of life with me, your host 𝗙cie, where I speak to people I think I know about things I think I know of. I hope everyone is well and happening and enjoying the year so far and everything like that. And yeah, please subscribe and all of those nice things. And thank you for all the support. Thank you for listening. Let's get into today's episode. Today I'm joined by a good friend of mine, brother, you can call it that rather, and his name is Tony Kandolo.
Yeah, but
Did I say it right?
Kandolo, yeah.
Kandolo, okay, yeah. Tony Kandolo, how are you today?
I'm alright, man. Thanks. How are you?
I'm well, man. People don't usually check up on me. Thank you for checking up on me. Being fair in our exchange.
Yeah, I've kind of realized whenever I listen to the radio in the morning
Yeah.
and presenters don't usually answer back, so
Yeah.
for
And sometimes someone is asking you.
reciprocating.
Yeah. Sometimes someone is genuinely asking you for themselves. So sometimes they're just saying, how are you? Hoping that, please ask me how am I?
But
Because I have some things to say.
we're gonna digress off
Yeah.
the topic, and I think we're cutting in your intro. But
No, it's fine. This is how
that's-
we intro.
that's quite a thing. I had a discussion
That's
with
right.
someone, and the reflection was: do you really ask why do you really ask someone how they're doing? Is it and how do you answer that? Do you answer what you're truly feeling, or do you just say fine for the sake of it?
Yeah, a lot of people are always fine. I'm okay. And it's like, most of us are not fine. So how is that the most common answer?
Okay, I tend to differentiate. If I'm okay, I'm okay. If
You
I'm
are.
fine, I'm fine. And
you
if I'm
are
good,
truthful.
I'm good. Yeah.
Oh.
But then I've come to realize also, I guess it depends on who you're talking to. And if you really believe the person you're interacting with has the true care. So anyway, I was just planting
No,
a
but
seed.
that's a good one. And it also depends on the setting.
Yeah.
So I'm
Definitely.
asking you, are you fine? But there's other people around and we are having a braai.
Mm.
Even if you're not fine, do you want to get into why you're not fine? So maybe you dismiss it by saying, I am fine because I don't want to tell you I have problems with my wife while there's a braai happening. Because you're not going to leave me at, I'm not doing fine.
That's true. And
I'm going to try and fix that if I'm genuinely
That's
caring about you.
That's true. And then what you are essentially highlighting, there are profound levels to this. So
So
Yeah.
now let's, yeah?
yeah, no. It's,
So now let's get into the show.
yeah, man.
Because I kept on going with that because it touches on what we're going to speak on today,
yeah.
which is self-introspection, self-love, self-awareness,
Yeah.
development,
Yeah.
and the most important thing is yourself. But with people, we know more to cater to other people, to ask how other people are doing. Sometimes people don't even know how they really feel about something.
That's true.
They can't even explain their emotions when they're having those emotions, and that makes them have a harder relationship with other people, not realizing, like anything else, they say you need to love yourself first before you can love anyone else after. So for you to know if you are really doing fine, I need to first identify with the feeling of feeling fine myself before I come and learn from
That's quite true, and I love how you phrased it, that you first need to love yourself, because if you look at for people who are biblical or religious, the second greatest commandment apart loving God with all your heart, soul and mind is love your neighbor as you love yourself, which relates to the question that we just touched on. I mean, if I truly love you like I love myself, then definitely I should take an interest in knowing you like I would want to know myself. But the trick is, it's very difficult, or it's not common practice to take time to truly learn about oneself. That's what I've noticed in my 20-something years of life.
20-something. You don't want to give it up. You want to tell us.
20-something.
Tell
No,
me old.
no, because there's a stigma that I think young people are not really knowledgeable, or people get dismissed when they find out, oh, this guy is this year. Like we get boxed in a lot of times.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I also am quite guilty of that
You're a
sometimes.
boxer. You call it a boxer sounds physical.
Yeah.
But are you someone who usually come from a past of boxing people in?
No, that used to. I think that's how we are wired by default. But then, as I grew older, I learned to not truly judge a book by its cover.
Knowing that there's always an underlying layer, and this is just the surface.
Because
they're not as arrogant that they might present themselves. Maybe it's
exactly that. Because I've lived that biased and stigma where, off the cuff, people would have a different perception of me, and once they got to know me, they were like, "Hey, I thought you were
arrogant."
Yeah, or I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but an ass. So,
yeah, no. I fully understand what you're saying, and yeah, we don't focus on. I don't know why we taught to always cater. It's like I'm thinking about a child, nah.
Yeah.
When you have a baby and you teaching them mannerisms, it's usually for you. It's usually for society. It's now you eat like this, not because the baby's eating because the baby's hungry. The baby's not eating because the baby wants to look nice and decent and close its mouth and present itself. It's like the purpose of the baby eating is for itself. How it eats is for you. Use a utensil like this. Close your mouth like this. When you're at a table, you eat like this. This is more about everyone else. It's if you think presenting yourself, clothing, uniform, it could help you indirectly. That uniform will teach you discipline. Cleaning your bedroom in a certain way will teach you discipline. But maybe that's the intent of the parent, but how it's presented to the person is not that this is genuinely for you. And even if it is for you and the parent says it, they don't explain it to a point where you can understand that, oh, when I do this and when I wear like this, yes, it does present better, but I also get confidence because people like people who dress like this, and then they'll compliment me or they'll respect me more. Then that's why, when I wear a suit like this, it does help me with my proposal. But it seems, you know what I mean?
I hear you. I agree and then I disagree at the same time.
I want to, let's go.
I agree and disagree. So I disagree in the sense that, let's talk about appearance. And I listened to snippets of your previous I agree that appearance does. I don't know if it's due to our psychic or psychological way of doing things or how we perceive things. But Delight, if you dress well, I'm pretty sure that you will feel like you are on top of the world. I have no idea how that works or how that's triggers in one's mind, but in a sense that if you're presentable, you feel confident. In that sense, I disagree that when a parent forces or just guides as a toddler and whatnot, it's for their benefit. I disagree. It's just a bringing, I think, in the right manner. Then why I disagree is that I think at the stage where we are all we all get to a point where you as an individual start making choices about you, what you want, what you like, what you don't like, how you want to eat. And I'm pretty sure you've come across people who are anomalies.
They're very off the grid.
But
what? Oh, no, oh, yeah. Okay.
Not.
Oh, you mean the ones that?
Yeah, do not conform to standards. I don't want to mention names.
Against the grain.
Yeah.
Very in the
because
own world.
We could argue that you are also like that. You don't necessarily conform to the norm, and not in a rebellious way, but you inquire about how.
Or I'm not just gonna follow. I want to first know why. Very inquisitive. Not just because so and so said it. That's the law.
And I've come to realize over this year, because it's been a year of really a lot of self discovery, not by choice, by circumstances.
Life puts you through that.
And not to over dramatize. It wasn't. I didn't go through so many hardships that my life was flipped around. No, not necessarily. It's just I was put in situations where I was lucky enough to recognize the learning opportunities that
it was
presented
situations that were not severe, but they were enough for you to say, I want to change certain things. I want to adjust this. I don't think my path is the path. Maybe just make a detour here a bit.
Yeah.
Add this in my character. Add this into how I perceive things.
So
Fix myself, perfect myself. Not that I'm bad,
yeah,
but let's get better.
It's because I've learned and I've developed a strong passion for self-improvement this year. It's all about, and it's all about self-improvement, and I'm trying to pass it on wherever I can. I was helping out my youngest sister today with driving course and driving because she doesn't stay far, and if I have time, I just help her. And once all the lessons were done and I took back the wheel, we had a 10-minute session, and the aim was, okay, what did we do right today?
Wow.
What did you learn today? By yourself. I just posed
this
the
is
question.
not just the driving itself, it's everything that happened today.
Yes.
The whole lesson of the whole day.
Yeah. Well, we did it early in the morning, so it was
whatever
the first portion of our day.
Okay.
But that was like, what did you learn? Were there any improvements? And then the most important things are, if there are any improvements, how are we going to improve them next time we get behind the wheel, or next time we are faced with the same situation?
Oh, so we're not just trying at this thing. We're making calculated decisions. We're working towards something. We're strategizing. We're not just wasting this time. Like anything productive, which is not usually the self things, which you were making me realize that, like the most successful companies, there's structure. There's a goal. There's a what's this thing? There's an objective. Everyone knows that this is the purpose. This is what. They have team meetings or teamwork. So to create this environment where we think like this, we move like this, so that it yields results. And and results that maybe not to the T, because it's yourself. But
definitely.
You can kind of figure out that next year around this time, I will have my license.
Yeah.
Or I will drive this good or that good.
Exactly.
And that's how an F1 driver comes compared to the average driver, because they now calculating that and they can figure it out.
Yeah, and I think we touched on it last time we spoke on the phone that I personally believe if you don't have a plan, then you are essentially planning to fail. That's one thing. But then in all your endeavors, consistency, because we will fail.
Yes.
Like today we failed. Like we rolled, the cost got stuck and whatnot, and I purposely simulated this situation to make her understand that this is what happens when you go left. This is what happens when you go right. It's all about trying to understand your boundaries within which you're working, so that you are better able to manipulate them for your own success. But I think the most important thing is consistency. In everything that you do, you must be consistent.
So we know about self-awareness and what do you base the bar on, or the benchmark? Like, what is the example of, okay, you, Tony, right? You said you're 20 something.
Yeah.
And maybe your goal is to be a married man with kids who are also successful in their own right. So that means you must be a good father or a role model, or know how to communicate with kids and raise kids well. But also be a good communicator with women, or specifically your wife. Manage a home. Manage a salary. Which salary do you manage? Which salary do you aspire for? Which husband do you aspire for? Which father do you aspire for? Who do you look at and say, this is not only the example I want to follow, but I'm sure that it's a good one for who I am and what I believe in? How do we get there? Have you gotten there? But how does the other person get there? How do they know how to get there?
I think I've been fortunate enough. So I don't have one. I wouldn't say I have one role model that covers all my boxes. My landlord, who I live with, has been. I've been fortunate enough, by just being in his presence, know how to give back without expecting, and I never
how to deflect.
No.
Huh?
Give back.
Give back
without expecting anything in return.
Wow.
And that I learned by him doing things with me, that someone would really ask for a lot in his presence.
Because he seems very selfless towards you.
That's the word. Yes. So I've kind of drawn that also. if I look at my old man, he's a very people's person. That's one thing I'll give to him. So I drew that from him. But and this is far-fetched, but I've been a strong follower of guys like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Lewis Hamilton, Cristiano Ronaldo, Tiger Woods, and their focus and dedication to their craft is insane.
Would you say they have self-awareness more
Yes.
than the average person? Maybe.
It grows. It grows. Self-awareness is something that you continuously work towards.
Yeah.
The aim is always try to be the better person tomorrow than you were today or yesterday.
Yeah.
But that takes time to kind of like go through your whole day if you can. 10 minutes of quiet time and then just see, okay, I interacted with Delight like this. I got him this. Maybe I could have gotten something. Maybe I could have asked him, hey, what would you like? Those type of things. So it's continuous.
You'll never arrive. Even till the day you die, just always adjust and make an improvement.
But you know, I think now there's a fine line between doing something to cater for people.
Yes.
And people to know yourself. Because I think, and we touched on this, for me personally, everybody is a leader. But the greatest attribute of leadership is serving others.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between me serving you than me doing something to please you.
Yes.
I don't. It's
Wait,
very
what's
fine.
the difference between doing it to please me and doing? Or does serving me mean that it's not just to please me? Like, because pleasing me doesn't necessarily mean that it will benefit my life. Is that what you mean? Whereas doing a service for me is something that will benefit me.
Yeah.
So though with pleasing, I'm happy with what you did, but maybe it's not best for me.
And by
pleasing me is like giving me drugs. But now drugs won't service my life.
But by serving, whether we like it or not, you've got some sort of self-satisfaction with it. Like you know when your podcast is good. Like,
personally, for you also.
I've done a good job. That type of thing. I think there's a very fine line, but you know, if again you're religious, the greatest leader of all time, Jesus Christ he serviced humankind. That was a service, dying on the cross.
So it's fair to say that in that service there's still a selfishness. Not because
I don't think
by selfishness I mean
is the right term.
No, let me not say selfishness. There's still a self-servingness about it. That's what you mentioned in the service people. It's that when someone does, let's say you're gonna, like you said, you hosting me, I'm recording the podcast with you.
Yeah.
Maybe D-Light would like this, but in D-Light liking that, I also have a pleasant day, or I also have a pleasant result because I wanted D-Light to be comfortable in my presence. I wanted to maybe be a good host.
Yeah.
So it served me. So I'm also a part of this goal, the end goal of doing this thing. This, like a parent will send you to school and say, I love you so much. This is all for you. But a big part of that is also for themselves, their image or their goals or their personal whatever. And that's why it bothers them so much if you don't achieve this goal, if you don't, because it's for them as well.
In that light, yes, but from a parent's point of view, I don't think no parent wants to see their child fail.
But why is this? Why is failure? Why is my failure bad for you? Isn't it because that's why another kid's failure is not that bad, because that kid doesn't reflect you. It's like your kid reflects you, so it's still about you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. A child is an extension of you. We need to accept that. So as I stand here, I'm representing my pops, I'm representing my moms, and to a great extent I'll be representing my family.
Yeah.
It's
That's interesting.
I think yes, you are right. Although I don't see it in that light, then yes, you are right. I mean, different lenses for different people.
Yeah, and it's and it's not necessary, because we're just trying to break down the definitions of maybe this is what this means, this is what, as long as we, and the right part, that's what I'm saying, like it's okay to say, okay, we're right because maybe to learn in the moment, but it's like, as long as you were serving, Tony was always serving, whether or not he believes in Delight's version of why, or the definition. As long as you are serving, then you are fine. You're on the right road. Whether you know how to explain what you're doing or not, I think the explanation and identifying what something is and the definition matters more to the one who needs to get to this goal, so that he can justify it in their mind of, why must I do this? No, when you serve someone, this is what the result is. That's where the explanations and being right matters so much, because that person is technically wrong, or they're living on the wrong path, or not the right,
So
not a serving life.
I hear you. I understand what you're saying, but I don't fully agree, because I think in serving we need to learn how to communicate. And again, we touched on this a little bit. Communicating, you need communicating effectively, which means that the person must, your counterpart must understand where you're coming from. And I don't necessarily think people take the time to communicate effectively.
Okay.
So in me, I may not use, so I need to try and convey the message in the manner in which you will understand it, and you can reciprocate or respond in the manner that I would want you.
So I need to study your language while you studying my language. But
we
I
need to
also
find the common ground.
Yes, always. But and the thing is, now knowing that you communicating with someone who has the same intentions, that when I communicate with you, I want the best for you, and I'm not being selfish in this communication. And now, how are you always sure that I'm communicating with someone who, as much as I'm studying their language, they're also genuinely studying mine?
Yes.
Because I think personally, it's a conversation I had with friends, because we're going to get into that and how relationships serves you, or the other gender.
Okay.
But a big part of it is, I see a lot of women speaking about, you guys don't know how to communicate, or you don't know how to understand my love language, you don't know what. But men don't take the time out to say that, what about me and my love language? Or what about learning how men communicate? Because we always see fault in the fact that men are bad communicators and women are good. It's because we decided that the woman language is the language we're going to go with. Whereas why don't we create a middle language that's by gender, whatnot? You know what I'm saying? And let's meet there, and then we all compromise, not just the man compromising for the woman.
Okay, which I'm all for it. But the question is, how often do you ask her, what do you want? Do we as men in general, with all the machismo, do we get down to their level, if one can put it that, and have a frank conversation? Is like, hey, tell me what makes you tick.
Yes.
And I share the same. How often do we do that?
We don't, and we don't do it often, I believe. And I think because of the bad intent. So another thing I've noticed is, it's not to say that the woman language is the better language or whatever, but because they've invested more in wanting to be married, for instance, like more women on average, since when they were younger, more communication, even the story, the conversations they have when they're together, they're always dating on some, I think he'll be my husband. Even at 18, a girl is on some, I think he's the one. With men, we learn to want that a lot of the time. It's not what we initially want or what we strive for. And I don't think it's a genetic thing. I'm not going to assume that it is. But I think it could be a cultural thing. We can just change the way we communicate and what we find important. So if we're finding sex to be important, we're finding this to be important, I'm never going to find out what ticks about a girl, unless she says, the only way I'm going to have sex with you is if you take it this far. So some women do go to a sapiosexual level before they get physical. But that's not on average. And a lot of men don't have patience for women that need the full investment. And then that's the difference, I think.
And I think for me to answer that as a man, I think you need to go back to, again, that the topic with the point we made earlier on is, what do you want? Well, once
for yourself, your purpose, your goal,
yourself, and with whoever you want to engage with. What do you want? Once you know that, then it's now a matter of finding the best route to get there. I mean, there are many ways to get from here to Durban.
Yes.
You can fly, you can drive, you can take the bus. Hell, if you're strong, you can cycle. But I think, personal belief, we need to first define what we want. And then from there on, depending on your surrounding, your stakeholders, then you determine and define the best route to get there.
Yeah, I think another thing is self-awareness. When you look at someone, you're like, oh, I think that person's they know themselves. There's always this type of example of who this person is.
Yeah.
We never usually look at the guy who doesn't have the most money, who doesn't, as maybe he's self-aware.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's understand that self-awareness is just, as long as you are never lying to yourself, as long as you're not in positions you don't want to be in, just trying to fit in, as long as when you believe in what you believe in, you say it loud and proud wherever you are. You don't say, yeah, I'm not sure. Hey, yeah, I'm not willing to defend my beliefs because I'm not willing to face the confrontation. It's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that were just one person's idea. There's certain structures, there's certain ways in which, systems in the world that exist, but it started with one person. But he was so confident that millions of people made that their system. And that's the thing of the self-awareness thing, is that we in a world where you decide that, okay, let me find the best system to go with, or the best thing that's already existed, not realizing that maybe you're in a world that doesn't consist of exactly what fits you, and maybe you need to be the new leader of a new system. And that's where the self-awareness comes in of, as long as you just believe in what you believe in, then it becomes right with the confidence. And
just to add on that,
no, it's fine.
We spoke about leadership and being about serving. But then you're touching on the different aspect of leadership, which I believe is quite crucial: passion. Because once you're passionate about that, you can say any and everything with your chest, and that entices people to quote unquote follow you.
That's where cults come from. We look at it like, this is so ridiculous. How do you give up your whole life, go and live here, and this guy's talking this and you believe it? But it's that confidence in that man that's so beautiful.
Look at how Donald Trump won the election. Very charismatic. Very charismatic. And he's passionate about what he believes in. There was no way in hell that wall was going to be built.
But the confidence.
The confidence.
It was good enough. You can tell us lies and we can know it's lies. But we will trust a confident leader, because when we get at the battle, you're not going to turn around. You're still willing to die before all of us. You're in the front heading this thing. So that's actually it. That's when it comes down to everything, that's what we need the most.
Exactly.
Because physical strength or just believing it is way more important than being the smartest guy. Like it's way harder to be the dumbest guy but confident about it.
So we hear this phrase being thrown around a lot, but how often do you believe in yourself? How often? Because I can stand here with you. I had a task last week. I was presented. It was the first time I was given such a task.
Is this the work environment?
Yeah, work environment. And to tell you the truth, for the first half an hour, I was crapping myself because of all the external pressures. But once I got into that mindset of starting to realize, nah, man, believe in yourself. It felt like I metamorphosed into something totally different, and the task was achieved to the agreed standards, and to a certain degree, one of the feedback was like, "No, we didn't expect you to do it this well." So
they also know you're not that way usually, or
but it's that thing of, how often do we believe in ourselves and truly believe in ourselves?
It's like when I'm watching a comedian, I see that the joke is anticipated. When you're a good comedian, so sometimes you're like, but that guy didn't say anything funny. Like, so if you're a confident person and you're always confident, the confidence is anticipated, the knowledge is anticipated. So a confident guy could be maybe right 5 times in the beginning of his confidence. Then that's all you need to get through. Then after that, you can be wrong the whole time because people just anticipate that. No, but so and so said it. They didn't do research. They didn't do whatever. Exactly. No, but this guy is that guy. And that's when you start winning.
I can give you an example. I can say a word right now, but if I just had you see what happened. It's just how you. I mean, you guide.
You present it.
You guide conversation. You influence things, and that's, for me, the intricacies of interaction with people is just beautiful, man. Once you know what buttons and what
You
But
see the
note-
art in it, eh?
No, it's very beautiful, man.
You realize that this is actually the beauty of life.
It's very beautiful. Like I told you earlier on, I listened to a podcast by 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗹𝗶,
Yeah.
School of Greatness, and one of it was how to influence people. It's so interesting, and one of the ways, like, just do good to people, and you will find when you need them, because we as people respond to how we are made to feel.
Yes.
And words is one
Emotional.
of them. That's why
And what?
a woman, when you
Yeah.
sweet talk her, she will feel. And if you add the physical
Yes.
by scent, that's why they say a woman looks at or what the woman usually sees in a guy first is.
Yeah.
They used to tell me, watch the scent and the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes definitely.
Yeah. But the scent, because it makes her feel
It
in
evokes
a
emotion.
certain manner,
Yeah.
and she will remember. It triggers something. If she smells that, also she's like, this was this lad.
It creates a certain impression. There's a certain notion that comes with certain scents.
Exactly.
It's
But
good sense and bad sense, and just your smell could make you seem like a good person
going
or good
back
intent.
to the point I was trying to make is, you create influence by the way you treat someone and how you make them feel. That creates a good. You can easily influence, not easily, because that's borderline manipulation.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But I get what you're saying. You could, your life could work out so much better if you knew how. Like the service thing again. You mentioned service. Offering a service to people, being useful, being of.
Yeah.
Like why do you exist if not to contribute to the world or to your environment? Because sometimes you're around people and they're doing exactly that towards you, and that's why your life is so comfortable.
Yeah.
So you need to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
And I think it goes into now this back to the self-awareness thing of for you to know how to, like you mentioned, manipulate or to make the world work for you. Let me rather say that.
Yeah. Influence.
You need to know yourself
Yeah.
and your strengths. So let's say you're listening to this podcast and the guy is like, so use this as whatever, but you realize I'm not maybe a very intellectual person.
Yeah.
I'm not very talkative. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah.
Knowing what you're good at will make you aware of what to use.
That's
I'm sure he didn't say you must do everything. I'm saying
No.
he was speaking for
No.
certain people.
And
take what you can take, and then make that
Yes.
work for you. Right?
Like right now, we were in the car. You told me that you are starting to move at a faster pace with your endeavors, because you are focusing on your strengths.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if there's anything that could be retained from this conversation to whoever is listening, is like, identify your strength and your weaknesses. That's and try to focus more on your strength. I don't know if you know of the Pareto principle, which says it's life is governed by an 80-20 principle.
Okay. Yeah.
So 20% of usually they say, let's talk about world wealth.
Okay.
80% of the world's wealth is owned by 20% of the population.
Yeah.
That's
True. Yeah.
So if you focus, even if you got one strength, but you focus your time in it, you will yield out the greatest results ever.
Like the 20 governing 80%.
Yeah.
That's it.
So if you can just identify your strength in order to focus your energy in it, then you can go further. But the importance of knowing your weakness is you know what to avoid and how to better handle situations that are unfavorable to you.
Oh, okay. Things where you don't have strengths, you can still find a way to manage it. Because maybe some things you can never avoid, because it will always, maybe this job will always test this weakness. Like I can't fully avoid it. I'm bad at this, but it's still a task I need to do.
Exactly.
So maybe know how to work with someone who knows how to do it, or
Yes.
get that assistance of knowing how to make it easier
Yes.
to get by.
Because there's, unfortunately, because of how life is, some weaknesses can be your absolute downfall if you don't know how to handle them or mitigate them.
Oh yeah, mitigate. Yeah,
Or
better
mitigate.
just do that sometimes.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I've learned about my triggers and how to try to avoid them. It's not necessarily, it's not always possible, but you try to avoid them. as much as possible. Because
Yeah, it's like I know people who, let's say, are emotional. I know people who are whatever. We all emotional. I mean, emotional to their detriment.
yeah.
And they don't know why they're emotional. They don't know that this is, and they don't realize that that's where the self-awareness thing comes in, where sometimes someone knows you better than you know yourself. So
True.
sometimes I'm always picking on something because I know you get agitated. You start getting, dude. That just means, even if I'm not consciously doing it, my subconscious knows this, and that's why I do it. And you don't even know why. You're just like, this dude always irritates me. But so you find I know you more than yourself, because I can trigger your emotions more than you can. Or maybe I know you as equally, but I shouldn't have access to your emotions over you having access.
So that's why I'm saying knowledge, self-awareness is a continuous thing. I forgot the technical term for it, or the known term for it, but there are 4 types of knowledge. Knowledge that you yourself know and everybody knows. Knowledge of yourself.
I know the terms.
Yeah.
It's objective truth, personal truth, and political truth.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, you'll never fully know yourself, but if someone is frank enough or honest enough to tell you that, hey, this is not right, and you're not necessarily aware of it, perhaps you should take the time to investigate that and see whether there's some truth in it. I mean, if 5 people tell you you're drunk, whether you are in denial, maybe you're living in denial or not.
Maybe it's time to start considering that.
Yeah, that type of thing.
So as much as it's self-knowledge and stuff, we still need to depend on other people to help ourselves figure out, like to figure yourself out. You still need to, because it's pointless fixing yourself and not seeing how it reflects on the world that you live in, because you still need to work with people. You need to navigate. So there's no point in working on your body if it's not going to help your cause, or physically, help you carry something, like
True.
or make certain tasks easier to do, and that will work with the environment you work in. And because you might be attaining a skill or attaining a quality that's redundant, but you're paying so much attention on it because it matters to you, but not to the cause, not to your work, not to anything else, but just you thinking that I need to do this because I need to do it.
So I'm very careful to agree with the term redundant.
But nothing's redundant.
No, I don't think anything is redundant, because if you look at what was the name of that Tyler Perry movie, Agrimony, that was a talking point, eh?
I never watched it though,
no.
but I'm aware of what it's about.
If the guy's push to get his invention working was considered redundant by the world as we see it.
Got into it.
So I'm very careful to use the word redundant, but because truth be told, not everybody will see your vision.
True.
Not everybody will understand.
But there's a point where now you have a vision, but you're not Thabo who doesn't have a kid. You're not Thabo who is a musician and he's pursuing whatever, and maybe Thabo doesn't have a steady income. And Thabo can dream, but there's no wife who he married and promised things to. Now you are in a position where, my guy, we see your invention, but this child needs nappies. This invention popping and then the child getting nappies is like, you're not fair.
That's
where the problem.
No, it's not a problem.
That's where your invention in that moment is redundant. It doesn't serve that cause. But if in the overall aspect of everything else, cool, but it doesn't help us now. So it's like we're driving now, and you are trying to get to a destination. The music that's playing over the voice of the navigation is redundant in that moment. It doesn't serve the cause.
I hear what
but you can say, no, I'm a musician. I was still listening to this song because this song is the beat of this track that's going to make us millionaires or whatever. But right now, we need to get to this thing.
I hear what you're saying, and now you're bringing me to an aspect of life that I've learned to realize is unavoidable. Look at all these greats. Let's look at Nelson Mandela. Well, if we, in hindsight, because we can only speak in hindsight, his purpose in life was to free
everyone else.
To bring freedom to the South African population, world icon. But what we don't know is his personal life suffered. So
Yeah.
if we look at Martin Luther King again,
Yeah.
again an icon for civil rights,
Yes. Yes.
but he paid the ultimate price by losing his life.
Yeah.
Now let's look at let's go sports.
Yeah.
Watching the documentary on Kobe Bryant's life, he had no social life
Mm.
whatsoever,
Yeah.
but he's regarded as one of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
So I guess in your pursuit of your purpose,
yeah. Nah.
there comes a time when you need to make these hard decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't have it all.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah. True.
Unfortunately, life.
Yeah.
It's definitely a time for sacrifice. So, yeah.
And like you mentioned with the Kobe Bryant, or let's say the Mandela thing, it's like in you not serving your selfish needs, or let's say you want to call it that, or your own purpose. Someone might be trying to convince you to serve everyone else, but someone is actually trying to convince you to serve them.
In what sense? I don't
So
fully agree.
let's say
I
I'm
understand.
a guy and I have a wife.
Yeah.
I'm gonna focus more on my job than my wife, right? Me focusing on my job is probably more serving to me than it is to my wife.
Serving to you.
Like just my happiness and my peace of mind. I get excited when I go to work. The only benefit she gets from my job is my salary.
So
I get everything else, and maybe that's why I overspend my time there. I neglect her, but she is trying to convince me
yeah.
to reduce my hours at work.
So
And a part of it could be that this is beneficial to our marriage and us, but there's also a part that could be beneficial to just her. So it's like, please don't serve yourself so you can serve me.
So what I mean by serving is usually the greater population, because you're touching on a very valid point. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the movie, but the movie about how the McDonald's franchise came into existence.
I didn't watch it.
So essentially that guy was married, and he literally, I think he spent out of 365 days, more than 200 days on the road trying to grow his business, if you want to call it that, up until he managed to interact with the McDonald's brothers.
Yeah.
It's very parallel to what you're saying. So he was selfish in his pursuit to serve himself, if you can call it that. But now today we've got McDonald's, and who's being served?
The whole world.
The whole world.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to serving, there's always a greater picture than what we see now. Unfortunately,
usually
you want. I'm pretty sure.
Like you said, you can't have it all.
You can't have it all. Mrs. Mandela, Winnie, and the kids right now, in that moment when the dad was in prison.
Yeah, even after, despite all the freedom, there's still a part of it. Yes, but I wish my dad wasn't a prisoner. I wish my dad was here. Like I would have, someone else could have been the hero.
So there will always be many sides, but I think you can't have it all.
So there is a loss with self-awareness, or self-love and stuff. Because that results in a lot of a Kobe. That results in a lot of, I don't mind spending time alone or on myself. I'm not always gonna drop my goals, my day, my plans, because even when you see friends and stuff, there's like a ringleader. There's a guy who says, this is where we're going tonight. There's a guy who says, we drink this. There's a guy who, and then there's the other one who says, okay, I'm gonna follow with that. You know, so it's like,
I think
and
so.
But now, like we mentioned, even in that, there's loss with being the guy who's so self-aware. But as much as there's loss with the guy who is just just serving everyone else.
How is loss perceived? What do you mean by loss?
Like how you mentioned, like you can't have it, like the Mandela loss, the loss of the fact that, you know, my family is gonna be neglected, and I won't just have a wife to come home to.
Yeah,
I have to start that relationship with the 𝗀cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹.
But
for
now,
instance, you know.
But now, what if we can agree that all of those people are leaders? But what is leadership? It's not for leadership is meant to be for the masses.
Yeah, but now, it depends. Like someone even mentioned to me, or not to me. Like there's something I watch, and this guy is like, to be a leader, you have to be narcissistic. So leaders act like they're leading and it's all for everyone else, but there's a part of you that is for you, because it takes a lot for you to say, I want to lead people, I want them to listen to me, and I want to be, because there's pressure that comes with it. So that comes with there's a self-servingness in leadership is what I'm mentioning. It's what I'm trying to say. It's like,
yeah,
there's this thing of, there's a power element we can't ignore. As much as it starts with, and that's why a lot of leaders start with good intentions, and you see the good intent, but then this guy becomes a dictator. He becomes we don't know Martin Luther King's end result, right?
Yeah.
But we don't know what it could have been. We don't know how he would have switched up and said, now that we are leading, I'm the president.
I think I hear what you're saying.
Are you meant to be the president or just the freedom leader?
Let's put it in contextual terms where we can all relate. Like Michael Jordan with his teammates was a tyrant. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he was. There was a part of element of, dog, we're about to, even when I watched that documentary, we're about to, like, this is the last game or what, the ball must come to me.
Yeah.
There was stuff like that where it's like, you're not even ready to share this thing with someone else.
Yeah.
There's even with these guys, a lot of them, not Michael Jordan's career, because I guess his dad passed away. That's why he left basketball and then he came back. But I know with Michael Schumacher, he left, then he came back. With Mercedes when they just got introduced.
Yeah.
But where does that come from? You did it all, then you still came. So there's this thing of, I miss being on top of that.
I hear.
Then it shows that
I hear what you're saying, and I think then that's where human nature
kicks in.
The human nature kicks in.
You can't ignore it.
I don't because
Once you're in a powerful position, you will like power, and we don't like power. A lot of people who don't like power haven't been powerful enough. It's like anything, like any, a lot of this stuff, once you're there, then you'll understand.
But unfortunately, because of our human nature, there will never be a limit. It's infinite.
You're going to want to continue with this. A president is not going to say, okay, cool.
I mean, you can't put a number to the number. You can't put a fixed number to how much money you would want to earn. Because you haven't gotten the things you wanted yet.
Once you get those things, your lifestyle is going to switch up.
Yeah.
Now your car is not good enough, though you have the best car in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for Elon Musk to drop the new one, man. This guy is slow.
Exactly.
No, but thank you, man. We spoke a bit about it. It went left to right, right to left.
Yeah.
But I think we need to understand, we need to be aware of everything else in order to also be aware of ourselves. But I think what we were mentioning is that maybe start with you. Maybe prioritize yourself. Though you need to study the world to help you, but don't neglect you also in the end of the day. Don't mold yours, because people look alike. People look everything. Even sometimes they're only wearing a cap because so-and-so wore it. And cool, maybe be inspired, but learn to add your own flair and learn to know that feeling that the way that guy wears a cap and made you feel good, it made him feel great. And if you turn it just a bit more, maybe it even feels better than what you thought it would feel like this. Give it a try. Try your own ideas. But know yourself before you can know what to try.
Definitely. I think in this whole complex thing that's called life, once you know yourself and you have an understanding of yourself, you can better navigate through it. That would be,
that sums it up nice.
Essential. Just know so that you know how to navigate it and know how you can get closer to your goals, I guess. But I think learn to plan if you can, and I'm saying that in a very general way because I know I'm very to the T.
But the nice part is how you said it. You said learn to plan if you can. So sometimes things are out of your control. Sometimes it is a bit too hard because you're dealing with a lot of things. Maybe you are a single mother with and you have a child. Maybe it's gonna be harder for you to plan this salary or plan this well. Maybe you're gonna make mistakes here and there because you're pressured. But once that pressure is off you a bit, maybe work on planning a bit better. Maybe work on saving money. Maybe work on slowly get there at least.
I mean, and I swear to you, bro, if you really take the time, every single interaction or every single occurrence is an opportunity to learn. There is something to learn. Just be mindful enough to be like, hey, this is a learning opportunity. Like, what do I take out of this? Every single thing. Every single interaction.
Like today. And I learned from this, and that's why I'm so glad we did this. You know, you can have ideas and have this, and that's why I welcome the objections. I welcome the disagreement, because I think the purpose of communicating should be so that you can listen more than you are conveying and whatever, so that you can, like, yeah, so that I can go home and say, hey, Tony doesn't know that he told me this. I'm going to be, I'm improving myself. And it's up to you if you don't want to listen to some of the suggestions I have for you. And because you might just stay here forever and ever while I'm taking all of this information from you and I keep growing.
I was actually thinking about this as human being. We can't stay stagnant.
Yes.
We really cannot. And to be quite fair, when we spoke last time on the phone, you stated that now you wanted a guest that would actually give you talk more than you did, and I think I did that. I think I didn't think I could keep up with you.
No.
But thanks for the opportunity, I acknowledge the work that you're doing. And
thank you, man.
And it's quite a cool platform.
Thank you.
I really hope it takes off.
Oh man, that's dope. Thank you for going from being a listener to an actual guest. That's awesome. You contributed a bit.
If I even helped one person today, then
you did.
It's
bless you. Let's wrap it up. That's Tony Kandolo. Tony Kandolo, and yeah, man, thank you for coming through. He's 20 something, as you had. And are you like on social media? Do you want to be followed, or are you fine where you are?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a bit old. They
must leave you.
Nah, it's all right.
Okay.
It's all right whenever.
Maybe they'll catch you here again.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to come back, and it's always intriguing.
Awesome.
Conversing with you.
Awesome.
You always learn something different.
Thanks. Mutual. I don't get involved in stuff I don't benefit from, so I'm learning quite a bit. Thank you so much, Tony. Thanks again. Thank you for hosting me. Thank you everyone else for listening, man. I hope it was an informative and just a nice episode overall. I enjoyed myself, and I hope you did too. Again, follow us everywhere else. 𝗀𝗧cie of Life everywhere, on all social media platforms. And yeah, this was another episode of 𝗀𝗧cie of Life. 𝗚𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗶𝗹.
Just from the memory.